This week on the Crypto Nightly News, crypto tanks after Fed Chair Jerome Powell tells America to bend over and take it. Ethereum has the world waiting to exhale as it prepares to attempt the immaculate merge. And I sit down with CPA and crypto political expert Dr. Stein to discuss how crypto is becoming the great equalizer. We'll have those stories and the Crypto Potato Weekly Wrap-Up coming up tonight on the Crypto Nightly News. We all know that crypto offers the term future of the digital asset compared to last year's survey. Welcome to the Crypto Nightly News with Chris Jerome. Good evening, cats and kittens. This is your host, Christopher German. You've made the right choice to join us for the best half-hour crypto newscast in the world, where we refuse to drop three-letter Easter eggs that you have to Google to figure out what we're saying. This is down and dirty, plain English, common vernacular news about crypto, DeFi, metaverse, NFTs, and all the other wonders of this emerging digital world of Web 3.0. This week, I made the executive decision to wander off the beaten path with a format change, to bring you a conversation I had that should set fire to Wall Street and the world financial establishments, but probably won't, unless you do what you do best, and that is share this show with the world. I chatted with award-winning researcher, professor, entrepreneur, and crypto enthusiast, Dr. Stein about how crypto is changing the world paradigm by making the unbankable bankworthy, including the financially outcast, and making the common cell phone into a weapon of the people, by the people, and for the people, by elevating true democracy in a way we have never before seen in human history. What a great time to be alive, right? So let's get this party started. But before we do, I have to remind you, this show is automatic, hydromatic, instamatic, and even at times a bit erratic, but it is not for the purposes of financial advisement. If you wanted that, you should have gotten off at the 5th floor at Housewares, Ladies Intimate Apparel, and Accounting. But this show is for educational and informational purposes only. So, now that we got that out of the way, pull a cold one out of the cooler, throw another log on the fire, and turn your ringer off, because our signal comes to you from a tiny little trailer set in the wild, barren deserts of southern Utah, and I don't know how long we can keep this transmission going. And you do not want to miss 1 second of the next half hour, trust me. This is the last broadcast of the summer of 22. I do hope it was one for the memory books. But before it's all said and done, let's have a little chat, shall we? For Sunday, August 28th, 2022, this is the Crypto Nightly News, and this is your show. The week that was ended with a distinct whimper, as all but number 24 Cosmos posted red digits for the 7-day average. Cosmos posted 3% gains to reach an $11 price point. Bitcoin and ETH both posted lackluster performances. Bitcoin slid 6% down to the 20K mark, with Ether down 10% to just south of $1,500. The hisses and boos from Jackson Hole, Wyoming were felt across all the markets as Fed Chair Jerome Powell attempted to thread the needle in a speech he gave on Friday. He said that America is going to have to shut up and take the pain.
Shut up and take the pain. Take the pain!
While the Fed raises interest rates to wrangle in inflation. That sent traditional and non-traditional markets into the bilge together, with Ethereum taking special umbrage as it prepares to merge early next month when it goes from an inefficient proof-of-work protocol to what's considered a much more efficient proof-of-stake setup. What does that mean? Well, if it's successful, the blockchain's massive electricity requirements will fall by as much as 99.95%. Crypto critics argue that coins like Bitcoin and Ether are useless as long as they consume massive amounts of electricity to mine them. In the merge, Ethereum will adopt a system known as proof of stake, which has been planned since before the blockchain's creation in 2014. Proof of work consensus requires miners to use their computing hardware to demonstrate that they invested real-world value for the right to add to the blockchain. And this uses electricity on a massive scale. By swapping proof of stake for proof of work, ETH value will be staked directly into smart contracts, removing the need for miners to burn energy and to add to the blockchain. Therefore, the environmental cost of securing the network is drastically reduced. In NFT land, Bored Ape topped the list with 16 million in sales, with Amutaswap, Pudgy Penguins, Azuki, and NFL All Day all posting upper-end gains for the week. So Rare, Other Deeds, and CryptoPunks all posted double-digit losses, with Mutant Ape and Clonex posting moderate to flat losses on the week. And now it's time for the Crypto Potato Market Wrap-Up. Su Zhu, one of the founders of the distressed crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital, 3AC, is reportedly worried about fronting severe law punishment. Specifically, the Singaporean said he and Kyle Davies and other executives could face fines and imprisonment for being in charge of the troubled company. At the end of June, a court in the British Virgin Islands ordered 3AC into liquidation. Shortly after, numerous crypto firms confirmed exposure to the failed company, while its top executives, Su Zhu and Kyle Davies, were rumored to have fled to Singapore. Two iconic American rappers, Eminem and Snoop Dogg, will perform their mutual single from D2 to the LBC live on MTV-sponsored Music Awards, the VMAs, this Sunday. Bored Ape Yacht Club, BAYC holders, will be allowed to watch this event live at the Other Side Metaverse. In June of this year, they released the song with its half-animated video, showing off their NFTs from their famous Bored Ape collection. And Tornado Cash, tied to Russian security firm. On August 8th, the U.S. levied sanctions against the bad boy of the crypto kingdom. 2 days later, Alexei Pertsev, a coder tied to the crypto mixing service, was arrested by Dutch authorities. The blacklisting and the subsequent events sparked an outcry from privacy proponents, with many protesting and engaging in acts of civil disobedience. But, according to the intelligence firm Karnon, Pertsev was formerly employed by a company linked to Russia's Federal Security Service. Tornado Cash was developed by a Delaware-registered corporation called PepperSec, with Pertsev being its founder and CEO. Pertsev, a Netherlands resident, reportedly worked at Digital Security as an information security specialist and developer of smart contracts. Digital Security happens to be a Russian entity and was flagged by the United States Treasury Department for providing material and technological support to the Russian FSB. And that is the Crypto Potato Market Wrap-Up, brought to you by CryptoPotato.com.
I'm a single mom of three. I've been working in healthcare settings, specifically in clinical laboratory medicine, for about 25 years. So I was actually surfing the net and I saw the advertisement for lumiwealth. And I said,
And lastly, would you recommend lumiwealth's classes to someone else?
I definitely would. I actually have. So.
Oh, nice.
And now for our main event. I got the chance a couple of weeks ago to sit down with an award-winning crypto expert and financial guru, Dr. Sean Stein Smith, when I was doing the Democracy in Crypto episode. This interview really hit the nail on the head, and I didn't want to cut it short just to fit it inside my normal format. So, this week, I threw the playbook out and have what I think is the most important interview to explain what is really going on with the advent of crypto that I have ever done. I urge you to pay attention to what Dr. Stein Smith has to say about crypto and what it means for not just the future of our nation, but the future of our world. And it's happening right now. So without further ado, please let me introduce you to an interview I shot on July 27th, 2022 with Dr. Sean Stein Smith that should set the internet ablaze. Politics and society have combined in the form of crypto. And crypto it's becoming an invaluable tool to take otherwise unbanked or alienated populations of people and give them a chance to build wealth for the first time in human history. It is an absolute paradigm shift. It is an absolute a tide shift in the way that we have been able as a society, as a people, as a culture, as a world human race to be able to participate in the financial framework in this world. And Dr. Sean Stein Smith is here today to talk to us about how this is working and how it's all going to come together. I think with Web 3.0, NFTs, metaverse, all these things are coming together in a truly democratic way, in a way that everybody is going to get a chance to become a better human and to be able to feed their families and to build wealth and to have stability and to have comfort and to have the promise and pursuit of happiness. This is what our founding fathers wanted here in the United States, and it's finally coming about thanks to crypto. Now, Dr. Sean Stein Smith, could you talk to us? You've been doing this a long time. You're a CPA. You're one of the most well-lettered people we've ever had on this podcast, and you know this better than anybody else. Tell me, why is crypto becoming such an amazing tool for democracy?
Afternoon, Chris. Happy to be here. I'm Sean Stein Smith, and honestly, the core area that I always try to analyze crypto through is on a accounting, finance, corporate payments area, right? Because at a basic level, how blockchain-based payments and applications are operating are altering how payments are made, corporate finance works, how entrepreneurs can interact directly to their customers, and how individuals interact both on a peer-to-peer basis and actually with other external institutions. And so it really is, right? Bull market, bear market, fine. But at a basic underlying application level, right? Blockchain-based applications, including crypto, are altering how payments and how data moves.
Well, and that's one of the things that we talked about on my other podcast last week is the democracy of crypto and how it is changing the way that people do finance. It's changing the way that, ultimately bringing people that have otherwise not been afforded the opportunity to participate in finance. They are joining this, albeit in a more democratic way. Web3 is supposed to be a completely open source thing, and it's supposed to be democratic. DeFi, decentralized finance, that's changing the way that internet's working. So why not have a currency that is more open source and more democratically applied to this world so that we can get people out of poverty and get them into the quote unquote American dream?
Excellent point there, Chris. And a common point that goes overlooked is that most of the coverage, debate, arguing about Bitcoin and crypto, are they a currency, a commodity, who oversees them? All of that all of those are important points to argue about, right? But ultimately, right, it is a tool that allows individuals who are underbanked, unbanked, or who are otherwise sort of kept out of that wealth creation process that all of us take for granted. Here, right, it opens up that door. Anybody who has an internet connection and a phone is able to now be a part of that wealth creation process. Now, right on the surface, having a Android phone and some Wi-Fi could actually strike some as sort of a odd on-ramp, right, to open doors for billions of people. But actually, the number of people who have a iPhone, Android, other type of phone, and they uplink to the internet is in the billions, and is far larger as opposed to people who have access to a traditional banking institution. So it's a real opportunity there.
Well, and it would look back here in the United States. There are so many people that are living in inner city America, in the rural parts of this world, that have never been given a chance to get a bank account. They can't get into. They don't have the resources to be able to start up a bank account or to even try to get into that stuff. So they're really they're by virtue of where they're born, they are not allowed to be part of the American financial system. But because they have been given their quote unquote Obama phones and they can get to the internet and they can do these things, you don't need to go through a security check. You don't need to have a massive credit profile. You don't need to have, an Experian report in order to get a bank account. And so therefore, just by virtue of the fact that this is an all access kind of thing, they can actually participate in building wealth. And I think that's it's the first time in human history, I guess, since the Industrial Revolution in a lot of ways, that we have been allowing people of inauspicious means to have a bank account.
Yeah, no, and sort of the real idea of crypto, it was to take the power away from centralized institutions, right? Be it banks, be it other centralized players in there, and to hand it back to the individuals, to empower anybody, right? Anybody who's interested in doing so, to be a part of it. And so, yes, exactly on your point. Now it's really and I do know that the whole phrase "a paradigm shift" is overused, but it actually is a paradigm shift in how individuals can access and can grow their wealth on their own, right? Outside of having to jump through hoops, background checks, all the rest.
Yeah.
So it really is a opportunity out there, right? For anybody who is interested in actively sort of taking ownership of their own wealth creation process.
Well, let's say I am somebody that hasn't been edified in the finer arts of finance. And I don't really understand the way. How do I buy into crypto, and how am I supposed to buy a loaf of bread with a Bitcoin? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Can you talk to me a little bit about how that would work for somebody that is just entering this whole conversation from this conversation we're having?
Yeah. So absolutely. So the best way that I always try to tell people who are interested in crypto, trying to get into it, but aren't really quite sure how it's going to work, right, for them, is I always say, hey, take $10, $20, $100, whatever, works for you. And then take that and then buy something, buy Bitcoin, XRP, Dogecoin, whatever, buy it, hold it, go through that process of having the app on your phone, of buying it, owning it, and then actually tracking it on an everyday basis. Now, after that, it's up to you to then go and try to figure out how active or how much of your everyday, right, buying of goods and services you want to do using crypto, as opposed to using that as a on-ramp to help you sort of build assets, to build wealth, right? Because there are two options here, right? I can use Bitcoin and crypto to go pay for stuff, one, or I can use that as a alternate way that I have control over to build my own personal wealth, which are two different things. But ultimately, right, the easiest way that I found in all my ongoing conversations is to say, all right, fine, take $20, go buy something, track it, and then actually see how that process works for you and how doing that feels. And then after that, then it's a lot easier to figure out how much or how often you want to allocate funds into other coins or other assets out there.
Forbes had a conversation yesterday. They brought in like 4 of the top crypto people in the world, and they did a big open table discussion about that. One of the points that was really raised in that conversation was get dirty. Get in there, get your hands dirty, try it, see what you can do, and know the process behind the whole thing. And don't just rely on people. And for so long, I think people just said, okay, I'm going to go to my CPA and my investment person, and they're going to tell me what I need to buy for stocks. They're going to need to tell me where I need to put my money in my 401k. And this is a much more of a down and dirty, let's get in there and let's do the trading ourselves, correct?
Absolutely. So I'm a CPA, right? So, but I
didn't mean any offense by that. I apologize.
No. But the easiest, fastest, best way to try to get a handle on this space, right? Because there are 28,000 coins, tokens, NFTs out there being traded every day. So it's impossible to know about or to have expertise in all of them. But yes, I mean, do your homework, research, and then go buy something, right? Figure it out, download the app, set it up, and then actually buy it, right? Buy it, play with it, buy it, sell it, whatever. But I mean, the best parallel that I can draw here is the only way to actually know how good you are at driving is to drive, right? And so it's the exact same process here, right? All of us have heard of Bitcoin, heard of crypto, understand probably how it works at an abstract level. But ultimately, right, the only way to actually get comfortable with it is to do it, right? Is to use it, is to do it, and to echo on that point, is to honestly get your hands dirty. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and for the podcast, the Crypto Nightly News that I do, we talk about the top 30 coins. Because there's all kinds of guys on YouTube right now that are saying, oh yeah, go down to the bottom of the list. There's this is going to be huge. You're going to put all your money into this and it's going to take off. And quite frankly, I think there's a lot of bad advice out there because there are so many people talking about it. And some of them have creds and some of them don't have creds and some of them are good and some of them are bad and some of them are just outright wrong. And some have a vested interest in certain coins. But if you stick with the top 30 traders, there's usually some stability to that, at least some confidence that you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but on the whole, it's going to do pretty good, correct?
Yes, and so the overall sort of asset class is huge, right? But the exact same type of marketplace exists. We have Apple, we have Tesla, and then we have penny stocks, right? And so it's always on the individual, right, to understand what you're buying, right? Yeah. And so the top 10, top 20, top 30 coins have the most trading, have the most coverage, and also have the most data out there, right, to help you analyze it and to, buy it, sell it, trade it, to actually give you those options if you are so motivated. But yes, ultimately, I would say that especially at the entry point, I would always hone in on those top 10, 20, or 30 coins. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the truth of the matter is that you don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin. A whole Bitcoin is $25,000, $22,000, depending on the day.
It goes up and down.
It goes up and down. But ultimately, I mean, you could buy a 0.00001% of a Bitcoin for $10, and you have Bitcoin. And that's that's one of the cool things about this is if you're used to like saying I have to buy a Apple stock, they didn't sell parts of Apple stock. They didn't sell parts of Standard Oil. You had to buy a whole share. So that was kind of the bar that you had to get in there. You had to get $100,000 or $100 to buy a penny stock, if you will, and you had to have that much money to get in there. This is much more, you can buy percentages of these things. So it is the type of thing where you can just put $10 down and see if it turns into 20 overnight or if it goes down to 5.
Yep. Yeah. And probably the option to have that sort of partial ownership, fractional ownership of Bitcoin and other crypto assets is a real opportunity, right? but for anybody. And it's extremely easy to buy crypto on a whole host of apps out there, right? From Venmo to Cash App and all the rest, right? PayPal, even, right? All of these major players are now supporting crypto buying, trading, payments. And so, right, one, now I have the option to buy $8 worth of Bitcoin. Great. And then two, if there is a issue or problem, now I also do have a helpline to call to help me sort of hash out any issues as they do pop up. So it's really that sort of good merging of this opportunity to buy incremental ownership shares, and also have that back office support if there are problems.
Yeah. Well, and put your CPA hat on for a sec, okay? Because for so long, financial advisors, CPAs, they really, I think they gave advice that, they didn't want people to go off the straight and narrow. And a lot of people would think that crypto is the straight and narrow. I did a man on the street piece, and a lot of people thought it was crooked. A lot of people thought it was just still this new. It's not established. It's scary. But ultimately, I mean, it's been around since 2008. Bitcoin was founded by, back in 2008, and it's had a long time to come along. And yeah, though it is not a great bear market right now, it's not a great market right now, it's a bear market right now, there are still ways that you can get into this and have some decent success with it, correct? So what do you say to the folks that are saying, "Oh, I just find it too nerving, it's not a good investment"? What would you say to that as a CPA?
Yeah, sure. And so I've call me up almost every day asking almost those exact questions, right? And so one, right, always, if you aren't comfortable with the investment, don't do it, right? You do your homework, and to increase your comfort level first, right? And then two, right, there are upswings and there are drops in every market: equity, commodities, debt, crypto, right? Every market has bull markets, bear markets. So crypto is not any different. And then really sort of points, the top 2 points that I always try to really hammer home is that one, right? So the best way to enter into crypto, if you are comfortable doing so, right, and you've talked to people and you've researched, is to one, treat it like a commodity play or an alternative asset play, meaning don't instantly drop in half of your assets into crypto, right? But 5%, 4%, and then have that exposure to crypto. And so basically treat crypto as if it's a commodity or some alt asset play. One, and then and also two, right? It's really, really critical to always keep in mind that I do know it's always funner to buy during bull markets, but in order to actually earn money, right, and to have those outsized returns, you have to do buying during the bear market, right? I mean, during the bear markets is when the money is actually made, and so having that headset, comfort level, and that outlook are probably the best pieces of advice that I always try to give. But as always, I always encourage folks to always work with their CPA, who is comfortable advising them, obviously prior to making any asset buys. But yeah, overall.
Well, we're going to wind this thing down, but one last question, I think,
sure,
is that the CPAs and the financial advisors and the people that are making the calls to tell people what to do, it seems like they are also in need of being edified a little bit in this and being able to be brought along. Somebody that's been in this maybe 20, 30 years, maybe they don't really want to learn a lot about crypto, but their customers or their clients need to be told about it. And what would be your advice to the people that are in the financial pro industry about, how do they make their buy recommendations? How do they handle this conversation with their clients?
Sure. So I would say that the overall level of education and interest is a lot higher now in 2022 as opposed to 2018. right? That it has improved quite a bit, but absolutely, I do a whole host of trainings and educational activities, right, with firms and companies all over the U.S. And there is still a real opportunity, right, or a gap between where the overall interest in crypto is from entrepreneurs or external clients and the CPAs or FAs. Now, obviously, right, anybody who is in that role has a obligation to only give their clients good advice, right? And so, the best ways that I've seen firms and individuals try to upgrade their own education in this space is to actively learn, right? Meaning actively doing crypto, right? You're buying crypto, trying to talk to crypto firms, trying to go to educational offerings at the AICPA, IMA, other large institutional bodies in this space. But ultimately, right, it's on us, right, to be proactive. And I'll end with this one other anecdote, right, Chris, is that overall, right, the age bracket who is most interested in crypto, buying it, using it, is the age bracket that is coming up right now, ages 18 to 25.
Yeah.
Okay, one, right, most interested. Two, that age bracket is the biggest age bracket since the millennials, of which I am one. Two,
yeah.
and then ultimately, point three, both of those age groups, right, so 18 to 42, are going to be on the receiving end of the largest wealth transfer in all of human history. So all of these people who are coming up, who are growing, maturing, trying to get into the marketplace are also the ones who are most interested in crypto and who are, over the next 5-10 years, actually going to have funds open to them to help them go and actually allocate into this space. So it's really on us as a CPA or an FA, RIA, to proactively educate ourselves and our colleagues to answer all of those questions that are coming now and are only going to keep coming going forward.
Well, and that's why this is an important news story. And that's why I think everybody should be talking about crypto right now, because it's definitely changing the way the world is working. Dr. Sean Stein Smith, tell me how, if I'm a CPA or I want to talk to you personally, how do I get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So the two best ways are on Twitter at Sean Steinsmith and also LinkedIn at Sean Steinsmith. I'm always on social media.
Okay. Well, then you are truly the Web 3.0 guru that's coming down the pipe to help us navigate this wild world of crypto that is happening to us right now. Dr. Steinsmith, thank you so much for being with me today. And thank you for being with us today. We have all kinds of cool stories that are coming out about crypto, and we're going to be covering each and every one of them. I want to thank Dr. Sean Steinsmith for being with me today. Check him out. He's at Sean Steinsmith on Twitter, and you will be well advised if you start trading, and trade safely, my friend. The Fed chair says inflation fixing is going to hurt. We didn't cause this inflation to happen, but sure enough, just like the Great Recession and the Great Depression before that, we as Americans have to feel the pain to assuage the sins of the hubris nature of the financial system. That's why Satoshi Nakamoto, whomever they were, gave Bitcoin to the world in 2008. To relieve the common man of the boot of the financial systems of the world that we keep having to answer for. Crypto is a chance for us all to escape the hamster wheel of financial fortune that keeps running off the tracks. It is our chance for us to build wealth independent from the world banking system. The whole reason the crypto markets now mimic the Dow Jones and the S&P, and we all dip together, is because there has been an influx of mainstream sentiment into the crypto market. That doesn't mean that stocks and bonds are going to let you in just because they want to get into crypto. But crypto will let anyone in. And if Wall Street sees a good thing in crypto, shouldn't you? Just as Dr. Stein Smith says, you don't need to bet the farm to get into crypto. $10 and a cell phone, and anyone is welcome to the party. Places like lumiwealth can give you the tools to ride the lows and highs equally well. And right now it's buying season when Bitcoin and ETH are down and deals can be had. And great businesses like AMLBot can give you the security you need to ensure your investments are on the up and up. That's what this show is for, to show you that crypto is not such a bad thing and to give you the tools to be successful if you're brave enough to make a go of it. Now is the time, though, because in a few weeks, everything in crypto will start its meteoric rise once again, and your $10 of today will turn into 20 of tomorrow. And that's how crypto works. This episode is a primer for the crypto cautious and the DeFi shy. Take a chance and try. And that's the takeaway. Well, that's our show for this week. Thank you for listening and watching wherever you may be. We go out each week on Sundays at 9 p.m. on the Glacier FM radio network and stream across the entire podcasting universe thanks to our good friends over at Co-Host. You can also check us out on YouTube and on our new website at thecryptonightlynews.com, where you can download all our episodes and read the transcript of this show. Big thanks to lumiwealth and Crypto Potato, our sponsors. If you would like to reach the thousands of listeners and viewers who are crypto sophisticates because of this show, just like lumiwealth has, shoot me an email at info@thechartedlife.net or go to our website, thecryptonightlynews.com. Big thanks to Dr. Sean Stein Smith for enlightening us about the beauties of crypto and the democratic promise it holds. Subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends if you're in the mood and it hits you. It's been my great pleasure once again to spend these last few minutes with you, and I can't wait to see you again next week. For Sunday, August 28th, 2022, it's the end of summer, but we'll continue to bring you the best crypto news each week in the months ahead at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Sundays. I'm your host, Christopher German, and this is the Crypto Nightly News. Trade safely, my friends. The Crypto Nightly News is presented by the Charted Life Productions, LLC.